I hate to start off with this, but I have to ask, like, take us through what happened right at halftime, and on the same scale, like, how do you balance, wanting to keep guys out of trouble versus, telling them defend your teammate, defend your quarterback?
Well, I think it starts there. I think I didn't see it. I was watching the play down the field to see if there was pass interference on the player if we made the catch. But everyone's running to the locker room, and it kind of keeps spilling down that way. So it's a really unfortunate situation. It's not something we condone, obviously. It's not something that you really want to see in the game at all.
Well, we'll find out here in a matter of seconds from the 3-yard line. Bazelak in trouble, lofts it up to the end zone. They got it, touchdown, tight end, Daniel Parker. And this one is in the books. Missouri wins it by 1.
May the force be with you.
I know you guys saw the news. I met with Coach Mullen shortly before noon today in his office, and we had a conversation. Just told him I felt like we needed to go a different direction for the Gators and our football program. Gave him the opportunity to coach the game Saturday against FSU, and he made the decision that he thought he would be a bit of a distraction if he was around this week after this news came out, and so he made the decision to step away and not coach the FSU game.
Wow. Thumbs down,
I thought
dude.
this was a Georgia show. I thought this was a Georgia show. What's going
Well,
on?
look.
What the fuck are all these orange people doing here right out of the gate? Mitch, are you doing your job? You didn't even do the thing right. Is this the very orange show with the countdown from 27 and the generic? What are you doing?
It's an incredibly orange show. But look, let's face facts. This was Cupcake Weekend, and nothing happened. Nothing interest happened on Cupcake Weekend. Am I right? We're going to get into all of it, though. So right after this.
Thank you.
I mean, it was supposed to be Cupcake
Weekend. We need our daily affirmation there, Stuart.
So I do want this to be a Georgia show, but there's an for lack of a better term, there's an elephant in the room. I'm glad you're on, Ethan. I'm extraordinarily happy to see you again. I'm happy to know that you are still alive and breathing. All right. I have questions, man. I gotta know. Like it. You want to skip to the punchline? Are we going with?
Okay. All right. So let me lead with this. I have a feeling I'm going to regret saying this, but I feel like as a man, it needs to be said. Matt Ducati, you were right. You were right about Dan Mullen being a clown. You were right about Dan Mullen being a flash in the pan. I had my rose-tinted glasses on, and I didn't want to see the warts, and you saw through it. And mano y mano, I must admit that one ginger is more in tune than the other ginger. I will give you this.
Well, he didn't have tunnel vision. Well,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When it came to that, anyway.
That's the elephant in the room to me, is having to come and face Ducati,
So
knowing that he was 100% right.
A gaping hole vision.
Yes.
Hey, Mikey, welcome
up, Mikey?
to the show.
I thought you guys could use some more orange around here.
Lord, he stepped in right as you were feeding Ducati.
I'll be damned. I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, I said this in the chat earlier this week. I mean, when we were listening to the press conference that Scott Strickland gave, I mean, besides the fact that Mullen just hates recruiting and is not good and is overall not really good at it, everything boiled down to one simple fact. Mullen lost control of this team. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all. It was just for that going to that one point. I thought
for my orange and blue glasses here, I've had numerous Facebook real life conversations about why you would fire Dan Mullen after one bad season. And I said going into this year, I think we even said it in our preseason show, the expectation is 9-3, 10-2. Like that's where after at this point, if you want to be taken seriously, that's your floor. Like Kirby Smart last year was in a down year, rebuilding year. You guys lost 2-3 games, and now this year, those guys that decided to come back came back, and your seniors contributed. Like the super genius here said, it looked like the noise. It became a fever pitch, And I still contend that, in hindsight, now looking back at that Cotton Bowl comment about how the SEC championship game was the last game of the season for the Gators. You look at how things have transpired since that, really since the LSU game. But we gave Bama a run for their money, so it's kind of hard to start before the Bama game because we looked pretty damn good in that Bama game.
True.
But the Cotton Bowl, from that point forward, Oklahoma ate our lunch, and the writing was on the wall. Fire Todd Grantham, fire the staff that's not holding their weight, and get this thing kickstarted again. And Mullen decided, I'm going to ride with my boys. And we all know you have friends that sometimes the best thing you can do is stop being their friend. And you either enable each other, they enable you, they're toxic. I mean, that's what happened. And Dan Mullen decided to latch on to these Shetland ponies and call them horses. And then when he didn't, when he makes it halfway down the road and wonders why it took all day, you're the person driving. And ultimately, it's going to be your fault. And, all the platitudes he'd give about the yards and after we lost to Kentucky on a fluke play, it's like, okay, you lose to Bam on a missed extra point. It's like, okay. But the spiral kind of started, and the complaints that a lot of the fan base had about Dan Mullen not taking accountability, the clown remarks, pack the swamp in the middle of a COVID season, the Darth Vader thing, all of those things just came to a head, and it led to the team. He just lost grip of it. And at that point, you don't give somebody another chance to see how deep they can dig the hole. You got to get them out. You got to take the shovel.
Do you agree with making the move with only one game left to play?
Yeah. I don't see any benefit. So USC's fired their coach after 3 games, 4 games?
Right.
Yeah. But
LSU did it midway through the season. Those are the 2 schools that, to me, we are competing with for this coaching carousel. TCU's going Sonny Dykes, Virginia Tech is going whoever they go with, but they're not on the same tier as those 3 schools. And so I think Scott Strickland, so apparently there was an altercation at the South Carolina game to where they yelled at each other. Scott Strickland basically told Mullen to get your act together. I think that was the moment that the decision was made. And then, of course, that game was a blowout. I think at that point, Florida started searching for their next coach. And it was, if we like where things are going, maybe we turn it around, maybe we sign this class that had some talent in it. Instead, you lose a couple more games and everybody defects. I mean, you're trending in the wrong direction, and Mullen's not going to be it's too toxic at this point.
Yeah.
Somebody needed to force his hand at the beginning of the year, and if Dan Mullen wasn't going to do it, then Strickland needed to do it. And then with the firing of Grantham and Hevesy after the South Carolina game, it's too little too late at that point.
Yeah,
waiting until after Florida State, after they lose to Florida State this weekend, it
works in the other direction too.
On it.
It works in the other direction too. It's like, what did you learn about Mullen at the Missouri game that you didn't already know? You know what I mean? You didn't learn new stuff. You knew this after the South Carolina game.
So this is my take on it, right? If after the South Carolina game, if you're told, hey, look, man, you're coaching to save your job, and this is the best you can do, maybe you do learn something. Maybe you do say, okay, look, man. So I'm of the opinion that unless it's Georgia or Alabama, one win for Florida does not save your job. You could be 6-6 and lose your job because you lost to the teams you should be competing with. And that's where we are, and I think that FSU, it sucks, man. I can't believe, what hurts me the most, man, is that after all the shit stuff I talked about FSU after they lost to Jacksonville State, they might stop us from going to it. But that's all that needs to be said right there. Like, Mullen had a time frame to bury FSU in Miami. Like, literally both of those programs were in the dumps. And if Mullen had been an ace recruiter or hired ace recruiters, they would have been buried and dead in the water. And instead, we know Georgia and Bama and LSU are going to recruit. Those schools were signing top 25 classes. And instead of chopping the head off the snake right there, it was just indifference. And that, a lot of that. There's the postpartum here, not postpartum, postmortem.
Do you have news?
Yeah, Mr. Ducati, you have a question?
Why didn't you listen to me when I told you?
Man, I don't have the power, man.
Let me ask everybody in this room a question, okay? Can you imagine Steve Spurrier, Dabo Swinney, Philip Fulmer, Vince Dooley ever trotting out and doing a post-game interview in a fucking Darth Vader mask?
No.
And then continuing to answer questions in the mask?
Yeah.
That is the hard part.
When I told you that was it, you didn't say, maybe this ginger's got something cooking.
Again, man, I mean,
he's a clown.
Hindsight's 20/20, man. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. For you, it's hindsight.
No, for me,
I told you in real time.
But you're asking why. You're asking why I didn't believe you. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Well, it also boils down to adversity reveals character, and we saw what popped up.
Florida, I think on 24/7 Sports Composite, they're the 7th most talented team in the country overall. I believe they're 7th most talented team in the country overall, as far as on paper talent that they track with all their metrics.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you're sitting at 5 and
6.
5 and 6.
Yeah, one game away from bowl eligibility.
And our friend Mr. W.A. Tidwell made the statement that Dan Mullen was Gene Chizik minus a fluke national title.
There he is.
I don't even give Mullen that much credit, because at least Chizik had enough sense to keep good coordinating.
The best part about this whole thing is that look at Warren's picture. just peeking into the room. That's perfect, dude. That's perfect.
I mean, so a lot of people, our fan base is.
Thank you, Preston. We appreciate that, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate that. We do what we can.
But we know we're full of shit, but at least we try to.
Yeah, exactly. We sound like
damn right it's the most talented.
People really have mentioned Gene Chizik and Charlie Strong as people they want to be hired. And to me, that just shows how much of a disconnect there is between the Florida fan base and modern college football.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you this question. You're a smart guy, level-headed dude, and when you're not trying to like strangle Matt. So look, this is good.
When did that ever
Man,
happen?
I'm just catching. I came on here to eat crap, and I'm catching it from people not even on the show.
I don't know what's going on here, but no, I want to ask you something. What? Not a name. I don't want a name. I want to like sort of a character profile. Who needs to be Florida's coach? What does Florida's coach need to be?
Man, that's hard to say.
Bullet points. Just
bullet points. So number one right here, recruit. That is the lifeblood of college football.
Absolutely.
Number 2, organized. There was disorganization amongst McElwain, Muschamp, and Mullen's tenure. Just random stuff. And cool. That's going to be the last one I'm going to go with. Muschamp was cool. Muschamp was a cool coach. He just couldn't get it together. McElwain and Mullen were choves, I guess. Can I say that?
They were.
Those are the 3. Like those. Urban Meyer was that, right? Steve Spurrier fit those bullet points. To me, that's where
Urban
we are,
Meyer's a
man.
fucking asshole.
I can sum it up. I can sum it up. Not
Sorry
in two
for the
coaches' names, but in two names. Period. Patton and Zwingli.
All
You
right.
need a field general and somebody who can manipulate those high school players.
I want a Dabo's. I want a CEO. I want a guy who is not worrying about calling plays. I want a guy who is focused on, do we go for it on 4th and 2? What's my offensive coordinator and my defensive coordinator say? Like, I don't want Mullen and McElwain both came in. Muschamp called the defense. McElwain called the offense. Mullen called the offense. Get your head out of your ass and pay somebody $1.5 million and let them do their job. Like, get out of your own way.
Mr. Ducati, you have a question?
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Florida needs to focus on, and this is, oh God, shit talking me. I wish you would just kept this son of a bitch. But real talking me, if I'm going to separate myself objectively, all of that should be included. You shouldn't have to point those things out. Y'all need to focus on normal.
That's kind of what I meant by cool.
You need a normal human being.
Yeah.
You caught lightning in a bottle in the 90s. You caught it again. You caught it again in 2006, 7, 8, until Urban left. Okay, that's a lot of luck. That's gone. Now you need to focus on a normal football coach who's not absorbed with himself, who's not a gimmick. He knows how to build and he knows how to coach and he recruit and just be normal.
So that basically eliminates Lane Kiffin from the equation.
Don't try to. Well, yes. Don't try.
I said the other day in the chat.
Flash and pizzazz. You don't need to try and be fun and gun. You don't need to try and be the spearhead of the spread offense. That shit's done. Everybody's doing it. You need a normal, solid coach who can build from the ground up.
Yeah. All right. The Yankees and the Tater want to talk.
All right. Go, Brandon. It's you first.
Napier.
All right. Go, Mikey.
I got to dip out, guys. I just want to say bye. Enjoyed it.
Bye, Mikey.
Thanks for coming in.
I just wanted to bring some more orange during that. That's all.
He's still broken from the Georgia game. It's one of them things.
Well,
broken from the
good luck with your Gamecocks.
Tennessee's the only team that's not. Florida broke themselves against our bodies.
No, man.
They were competitive until they came to
we did. Y'all definitely did not break us. We were well broken by the time.
Yeah, you had cracks, but we shattered that glass.
Well, just like Brandon said, and I think Ethan's pretty much convinced that it's going to be Napier, right?
I mean, if I were going to bet on it, I would bet Napier. I'm trying not to convince myself that we're going to hire Lincoln Riley. That's what I want. I want to go fully out on the limb and drown my sorrows when it doesn't happen and convince myself that actually we're just going to back the truck up to Lincoln Riley.
No.
In reality, it's going to be
Larry Brown Sports is pretty well convinced that if Florida doesn't take Napier, Virginia Tech is. Or their second choice is Dave Clawson, but I don't know why Dave Clawson would want Dave. I would think Dave Clawson would want to get out of the.
So this right now, the top plus 400 is Bob Stoops. Why has no one said this yet?
So okay, that was what I was getting to with
the
Charlie Strong and Gene Chizik comment. Bob Stoops is obviously a better coach than those two for sure. You were talking about normalcy. I do think Bob Stoops could come in and stabilize things. I also think that he is out in less than 5 years, not because of anything that he does wrong, but just because he's already 60. And at the time, I think Muschamp recruited the defensive side of the ball very well. When McElwain came over, he didn't recruit worth a crap, but he inherited a lot of talent. So we had very good defenses, and we had game manager, those early 2010, 2009 Alabama offenses that McElwain ran. You run the ball, you control the clock, you play solid defense. Once that talent ran out, once they went to the NFL, that's when the 2017 season happened to where everything just plummeted. Now, Mullen has built up, like you were saying, we have a pretty talented roster. It's not Georgia or Alabama level, but it's better than what Mullen inherited. So the coach that's going to be coming in to our roster now is going to have a better roster than Mullen had when he came here. What we need to sell somebody on is, hey, look, we've churned. We've had 4 coaches in 12 years. Come in. Here's a 6-year guaranteed. You have your time. We'll give you a season or two to get this thing right, and at that point, we're going to take off. But you can't, if you want to bring in the guy. Why would somebody give up an already good job to come somewhere where they might get fired in 3 years? The administration has to show, look, we know right now we're at a crossroads, and the only way to really get this thing fixed is to have the guy come in. If it's Napier, awesome. I think he could be the guy.
How old is he, by the way?
He's 41.
What does the guy mean?
The guy means we have a 10-year coach who is going to have their ups and downs, but their downs are going to be 2 or 3 win seasons. Their ups are going to be college football playoff season.
So then you would Florida, and I'm comfortable with this, you could become the Florida version of the Mark Richt Bulldogs.
I mean, it's possible, but
I'm good. Mitch, you good with that?
I'd be fine with that.
I'm good with it.
I'll say I need to say this though, because this is something I said in the chat. I wanted to make sure.
Mark Richt never made the CFP though, so his ceiling was.
He also got
low.
fired before this. Was the CFP even around when he got fired?
No.
Yeah,
So that doesn't really count. He also
CFP
got
started in
2
2014.
BTS appearances. So but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying he was good. He was good, back on the map in the conversation, but big reason why Georgia never got over that hump. And if that's Florida, I'm good with it.
I would equate Bob Stoops and Mark Richt more comparably.
Sure, in
than
Oklahoma, because
likely
Mickey and Bob went out of style, after 99?
I think we beat Oklahoma in 08 for the national championship. And he's made
I wouldn't tell anybody that if I just keep that. No one knows that but you. Just,
Okay, well,
just say you won one. Don't say it was Oklahoma, because Oklahoma ain't won shit since 99, 98.
It wasn't 98.
Isn't that like
98
better than Georgia though, right? So
what is it? 41 years? Well, that's a year for every point you gave up to Samford. So keep that down.
let's all just put on a.
At least I got the rings.
I'd keep that down. You're now
Where
out
were
of
you when Georgia won their last title? Because I can tell you where I was.
Pontificating bullshit.
Championships lost some shine. So let's back it up. Back it up.
You ain't won nothing yet.
Okay, here's the question.
We're on the way.
On the way is a lot different than being there.
Somebody is getting muted.
So where are you at now?
Here's the question, guys. Here's the question, guys.
You're up, Dren. You're up.
If you're Scott Strickland, who's on your call sheet, the first 2 names on his call sheet, if I'm Scott Strickland, are Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the 2 guys.
It would be good. It would be good at Florida.
So I feel like Napier, as a spurned Florida fan, right, as somebody who watched the Chip Kelly fiasco unfold in real time, watched a man live stream himself at the Ocala airport asking Scott Strickland and Kent Fuchs if they were hiring Chip Kelly.
Is this real?
This is a real thing that really did happen.
When did this
2017. So Chip Kelly and Scott Frost were supposedly candidates number 1 and number 2 for Florida. Mullen was number 3.
Catch that.
Catch what?
Robin J. Richards.
Yeah.
Something.
I got it. I'm working on it.
I don't think that there's a spurrier out there right now, but
Later, take care of that one.
I do think
Stop you
that,
there, big guy.
no, you're good, man. I think Cristobal would be. I think any of them would be a home run hire to me. I think Cristobal is a guy who's not probably going to leave Oregon. If he did, awesome. Then I think it'd be a great opportunity for him. I don't think Lincoln Riley's going to leave Oklahoma. Those 2 guys both have the benefit of having been at big-time programs that can chew you up if you're not ready for it. To me, that's a big plus, because that's kind of what happened with Muschamp and with McElwain, where they kind of just got chewed up by every time you screw up, every time your recruiting class isn't where it should be, you're getting hammered over it. Mullen the caveat of, oh, look at what he's done at Mississippi State. What can he do at a real big time school? Well, now we've had that answered. We know the answer to that question. Napier being the guy coming from G5 up, that worries me a little bit just because he hasn't been in the grinder yet. But he's seen how Saban and Sweeney handle it. He's been in the game. Yeah, you go to Louisiana Lafayette, you don't get quite as much attention as you do at Florida, and some guys just aren't.
Can I say something about that though? When he arrived at Louisiana, they were 5th in recruiting in the Sun Belt Conference, and since he's been there, they have been won every single year. Mm-hmm. All right, so I know it's a Sun Belt Conference. Say whatever. Apples to apples, though, the guy clearly values that aspect of the game. So if that is your guy, you gotta feel kind of good about that, right?
Yeah, I think he's right for the taking.
I think if he's not going to do it now.
I mean, you guys have followed it. At least from my recollection, Napier was a guy who was in talks for the Tennessee job, in talks for the Auburn job, in talks for the Arkansas job. And that's what I've heard too, is that he from what I could tell, it looked like he was waiting for LSU or Bama. And now it seems like LSU has presented itself, but LSU Scott Woodward just doesn't seem to want to hire him. And maybe they go out and hire a bigger name than we do. It's entirely possible. However, if that means that we swoop in and say, Billy Napier, you got to tell us no, here's everything you can have, I'm okay with that. I don't see – there is no Urban Meyer hire in this cycle, right? There is no Kirby Smart. Those guys aren't there. But that doesn't mean that they can't be successful. Those guys were slam dunks. You knew those guys were the future. I don't know if that's there, but Billy Napier is probably about as close as we got this carousel.
Is LSU or Florida the more attractive job?
I'm biased. I think Florida is, but that has a lot to do with LSU's off-field stuff.
I think LSU's got more money.
I've read different things. I've read
not more money, but they have more money in football.
There's a miasma around LSU.
Yeah,
but that hasn't really bothered them. It doesn't seem.
Recruiting, not really. But Florida is, man. Outside of Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, y'all been terrible.
Hey, man, we were pretty good in the 80s, too, until
Georgia beat you when you were number 1 in 85, or maybe it was 86.
If we weren't on sanctions, we'd probably have another natty.
Yeah.
It's still more recent than
that 85
Oh, you were on sanctions.
That 85
Mitch, what does that mean?
Damn
Have
good.
we ever dealt with that?
Stop.
No, we haven't. Okay. Well, I don't know that word. I'm sorry. Can somebody say what? Oh, these fuckers know too. Wait a minute. Yeah. It must be an orange thing. The Fighting Trumps of Knoxville and the Cheeto Express of Gainesville.
Yeah.
You orange fucks.
Yes.
Oh, give it to me. Let's go, baby.
Wrong shade of orange.
Hey, let's bring up the scoreboards just so these boys know what time it is.
Speaking of scoreboards, hey, I first of all, thank you, Ethan, for providing all of this insight.
Yeah, for real though.
That is straight up. I wanted to say this earlier, but I didn't get a chance to get in over all the raucous behavior. I do believe that Kiffin is the candidate that scares Georgia the most, but I think he also might be the candidate that scares Florida the most. And I said that to you the other day. There's the guy is just, who knows? It's an unknown quantity. Is the reward high? Potentially. Is the risk high? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that Kiffin definitely has the highest ceiling out of the possible.
Yeah, because it's basically unlimited, right? The ceiling just basically doesn't exist, but also the floor doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is also another name that people have asked for, and now it's like people are like, oh, well, now you can pay recruits, so who cares if he did it? And it's like, that's a hard sell to a PhD president of a university. It's like, oh, and then also the text messages, that's the thing. Those are craters, right? That's where you crater out, and you're a 3 or 4 year rebuild. This is you come in, turn things around in your transition class, have a decent enough year with the team you inherit. You get a good bump class, and then you take off.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want though? Like, what do you want? Consistency, or do you want like mountains and valleys?
So okay, I want both. I mean, that's the expectation at our schools. The expectation is not. We're chasing Bama. We're chasing Clemson. We're chasing Ohio. We're chasing teams that are consistently on the mountain. I mean, that's where we are. If a valley here or there, the perfect example is our 07 team, right? 06 won a national title. Huge attrition. So many of our guys leave. Tebow comes back, wins the Heisman Trophy, but we still lose 4 games. But you could tell that team, they were freshman, sophomore. That 08 team came out and was ripping heads off. The talent was still there. You lose by a touchdown here and there, but it seems like you guys are on the verge. That buys you another year. You lose by a couple of points, Bama, Missouri, whatever. You look bad against Samford. You play down to your competition like we've seen in the past 3 coaches. You get fired. And so to me, having a guy who normal, I mean, really and truly, I mean, that's a great word for it.
It's not normal though, man. You're going to beat Bama, and then you're going to turn around and get popcorned.
Neither was Steve Spurrier, though, man. Steve Spurrier was not normal, and that's the high that the entire fan base.
He won a lot of games, though,
and that's what screwed him.
Here's
until he didn't, and once he didn't, the cards were stacked against him.
Here's a side question: I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it. Between the two, whose legacy is revered more, Urban or Spurrier?
Bro, Urban's despite winning twice as many titles, Urban is a mixed. There's a mixed viewpoint on Urban.
Championships is everything. Urban would have to get the nod, but you're saying there's some nuance there. It would have to go Spurrier, right?
Spurrier did it more than twice as long. Spurrier brought us from the sleeping giant and woke us up into a national and SEC championship caliber team.
I meant what I said. Outside of Spurrier and Urban, you have been terrible. Bear Bryant spoke about this in the 70s. He said,
do we want to go through the terrible patches every SEC team has had, except for the coaches that won national championships?
Bear Bryant
has not been that good. Like, that's true for everybody.
No, but for Florida, you were non-existent until in the 1990s, and the Urban Meyer, what was he there, 5-6 years?
We were good in the 80s, bro. We've been good for at least.
You were aight.
Get out of here, man. God.
You were aight. You weren't elite. You've been terrible.
Bro, Georgia has 2 national champions.
You have Tennessee 3. Guy. It took you 96 years to get your first one. You bitching at me for 41? Fuck you.
Okay. All right.
Those guys are. Hey, Brandon, what's going on, buddy?
Let me ask a question here. We were talking about these coaches being chewed up and spit out in Florida. Putting your big boy pants on, don't you believe that they brought a lot of that upon themselves?
Who's they?
The administration? Was that what we're asking?
Well, Muschamp comes to mind. Some of these guys that do a lot of this.
Muschamp was the guy in 2010 when he was the coach in waiting at Texas. He had been at Auburn for a national championship. He'd been at LSU. He had coached. Muschamp was the guy. It didn't work out in hindsight, all that good stuff. He was the guy. So to say that was a mistake is disingenuous. Sure, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to. That doesn't change the fact that every single school in the country would have hired Will Muschamp if they had it open at that point. McElwain was a huge mistake. McElwain was Jeremy Foley, for whatever reason, getting one more hire in, despite the fact that he was retiring in a year, and hiring a terrible
I remember when that happened. But when you talk about these guys getting chewed up and spit out, I honestly believe that you bring a lot of that upon yourself when you run that mouth.
I mean, I feel
when you're
fair. You're not wrong.
Every day, talk.
Every school in the SEC does that to their coach, though. I mean, that's you look at every school. Tennessee's churned them out. Auburn has churned. Gus Malzahn's on the hot seat every year.
All right, let me.
Unless you're Bama and now Georgia.
I don't mean to cut you off, Ethan, but let me
You're
get
fine.
the obligatory joke out of the way. So it's been 41 years since Georgia's won a national championship. But since 2001, which of your two schools has chewed through the most coaches?
Us.
Negative. You're tied. So Florida has now treaded into Tennessee territory. I'm not counting interims. If you count interims, it's a whole different story. Counting men pulled in to do the job. Florida is now at 7, including Spurrier. Tennessee is now at 7, including Fulmer.
Okay, I want to go back.
Give you a lesson on hating Lane Kiffin and why I hate him so much.
Okay,
Is this your PowerPoint presentation?
I want to go back. I want to
He
revisit what Brandon
fucked us
said.
out of scholarships.
My question before
That
was worded to
lasted
Kiffin.
4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But I want to go back. I want to go back and revisit what Brandon was saying.
Behind the swamp.
Ethan has, but there's. I think, Brandon, that's a pretty wicked oversimplification.
It
what
is.
you were saying. It is. So it's, it's. I agree with Ethan. Muschamp was the guy. The only job he wasn't taking was Tennessee because he hates Tennessee for,
Good for him.
obvious reasons. You would think he has good taste there doing that, but look, Napier's the guy now. He really, he's not. Is he Muschamp level guy? Probably not. But he's the guy that he gets brought up all the time. We're going back and looking at everything that. I've been doing all this reading of the past few days, all these dominoes that could possibly fall, and it's absolutely insane. There's rumors that Brian Harsin is in line for the Washington job. That
wouldn't it be hilarious if he got the Washington State job?
Well, he can't. He doesn't qualify.
Right.
Or that Sarkisian. The Sarkisian may be gone after 1 year.
No,
I don't buy that.
I hope that happens, dude.
That's a whole nother show.
You know what? We have a couple of years before we can all dogpile on the ugliest shade of orange, which is orange.
Exactly.
I have lots of complicated thoughts about Steve.
So when it comes to the nefariousness of orange teams, and you're all included, but one must stand in awe, in fucking awe of the Texas Longhorns and the shenanigans they try to pull.
I will make this prediction. We're going to find out just how really good Sam Pittman is next year, because I think Kendall Briles is going to get a head coaching job.
That might be true.
I don't know who said it, but there's a quote, to paraphrase it, it's basically Florida has the confidence of Notre Dame, but the trophy case of Wake Forest. This was in the 80s or maybe the 90s, so it's not really true anymore. But that mindset to me epitomizes Texas, to where Texas went 30-ish years between national championships, but they think that they are God's gift to football. And, I know Florida fans, that Florida in general has we all think our school's the shit, right?
No,
Texas has done
in 1991. That's what you think. And Paul Feenbaum has called you out on it.
Hey, man, we can talk about ancient. If we go into ancient history, the Tennessee guys are going to take us over. We can get Vanderbilt guys.
They have like 7 national championships in the 30s. These two.
Yeah. I know.
These two.
Other way.
Yeah.
Other way.
These guys. You guys were like the mythical gods of football in like the Dust Bowl.
Okay.
I mean, serious. They have
he's right. He's right. We were.
You ever mute that damn
There have been
there,
two people. There have been 2 people on this show tonight to tell Ducati that he's fucking right. This
What day has come, Trebek?
One more, and it's a Gucci hat.
Jesus, I think that's the end of the show, folks. Good night. So listen,
Yeah.
I want to put a nice little bow on this Florida thing, but I don't think there can be one put on it just yet. Like I feel like that there's some stuff that's going to play out in the next few days. I guarantee you that all eyes on Tallahassee. They're playing in Tallahassee, right?
No, it's in the swamp.
Oh, shoot.
And you were favored by 3, which means you were given the bare minimum.
The
At home.
the little
Against a
home
trash.
advantage.
So little tidbit. A lot of the players have come out and started the hashtag Keep Savage thing on Twitter. Nick Savage is our S&C coach. I think he's amazing. He really transformed a lot of those guys after McElwain neglected. That I think keeping him would be continuity. I think it would help. I think he's done a damn good job. But I think that there's a big section of our our team that is going to be fired up. I think that I think we might beat FSU by 14. I think people are going to sleep on us. I think we're clearly a more talented team. I think we've had chaos, and it's hard to take that into account. Our team is a lot more talented. Our team, I think we're going to be able to move the ball on them, and their offensive line is still not very good. So I think the bare minimum, if you take the chaos out of the factor, the equation rather, I think we'd be 2 touchdown favorites. With it in there, I think 3 points is pretty generous to FSU.
Yeah, I agree. So, like I said, I want to put a bow on this thing, but can't yet. Let's see how it plays out this weekend. I think that it would be a real nice boost for Florida to get this win. It would be something that you could hang a tiny little hat on.
Yeah.
But
Go party in the Belk Bowl.
Any bowl, because if you don't win, that's it. We'll see you next year, right? Like that's all, So it's a tough spot. All right. Now
Who
listen.
does Tennessee play this weekend?
Who?
Tennessee.
Who do you guys play?
Vandy.
Vandy. All right.
Fight fiercely, Vandy. Fight fiercely.
I would imagine you're going to beat the piss out of Vandy.
We're going to take that anchor and shove it up their ass is what we're going to do.
Is there anyone here, because I'm not going to do it, I did it last week, I'm not doing it again. Is there anyone here who would like to craft the fairy tale of the week on what Georgia Tech is going to do to Georgia?
No.
Georgia Tech is going to lose 70-0 to Georgia. Jeff Collins is going to get fired and become our defensive coordinator.
They're already.
No. I didn't say craft a fairy tale. I meant craft the fairy tale that we've heard week in and week out about what every team Georgia has faced is going to do to Georgia.
Oh, you mean Georgia Tech's going to run that ball right all over Georgia?
They're so big and they're so fast, I just don't know how we're going to block them and tackle them this week. The Rambling Wreck from Atlanta, they just...
Did anybody choose Georgia to not shut out whoever the hell they played last week?
Everybody on this show picked the shutout. Dren was the one who picked they would not.
I said it had the makings of because I got the offense wrong because in the past Charleston Southern had run a triple option.
Right, great.
And I thought they still were.
Did you see the way they scored?
Yeah. They still scored.
That's like the fucking butt fumble. That ain't ever going to happen again. Come on.
But it's like, I thought that had to be a 59-3 game, which I wasn't that far off. I mean, I said 59-3, 56-7.
I don't think we covered, did we?
I don't think there was a line.
There wasn't even a line.
There was no line in that game.
Darn it. Yeah. Well, there's a 35-point line for Tech. Who wants to give me the reason why Tech will beat Georgia?
Jahmyr Gibbs is a monster. And,
all right. And what will he do?
22 carries for 114 yards and 1 receiving touchdown.
Totaling how many points?
In fantasy? I'm gonna say 14. I think it's gonna be 72-14.
72-14. We still have Stetson Bennett as our quarterback.
Okay.
And I am not. Listen, the only thing I love more than Georgia football is being fucking right, and this Hobbit is making me eat levels of crow I'm not comfortable with. Do you understand what I'm saying?
These shit and feathers.
I don't think I've ever seen a more despised, undefeated quarterback. But Jake Fromm and Stetson Bennett have to be two guys who did nothing but win for their team and catch relentless amounts of shit for it. Like,
Correct. That's
Well,
correct.
Jake Fromm is undefeated against Florida, but against Alabama, not so much.
Well, he's got more wins than Jamie
Stetson
Newman.
Jamie Newman never suited up. Stetson Bennett, on the other hand, was not able to defeat the Gators or the Tide.
He beat us this year.
You said it. You said it. I didn't say it. I didn't bring it up. He did. I don't want to hear no shit.
I want to get these picks in, boys, and then I want to go to bed. I gotta get prepped for this here turkey workout that I'm going to be getting in in a couple of days here. So I guess are these things going to roll around again?
Camera's messing up.
So the first game is Thursday night, Egg Bowl.
Jesus
Egg Bowl
Christ.
is Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to Starkville. Is that right?
Yeah, State's favored by 1.5.
Yeah, so I'm astonished by this. Mississippi State's favored in this game by 1.5. I'm gonna just come right out and say it. I like Ole Miss in this game, and I don't get it. Is somebody else in on the joke?
I'm gonna take Mississippi State, and I'm gonna take one fake pooping the ball out touchdown celebration that gets a 15-yard penalty.
not the leg lift.
Not the leg lift. It's going to be the egg bowl.
They're
They're going to lay the egg, fake poop out the ball, and that's going to be the crazy egg bowl event.
Okay. All right. Matt, how about you? What do you think?
I'm going to take State because Mike Leach is in assassin mode. Ole Miss is the better team. Mike Leach is an assassin. I will say that
he opens a bag of cookies or something like that.
Mike Leach, he just don't care. I don't think Mike Leach really knows where he is. I don't think he understands reality the way we do. He's just there calling shit and plays.
Calling some air raid offense, just slinging it around.
Sometimes it works and he beats the LA Rams, and sometimes he loses to Sister Mary School of the Blind, and it's all the same.
He's thinking about pirates and sovereign citizenship.
That's it.
That's all Mike Leach is worried about.
I'm taking State. I think he's in that mode right now.
Okay. What about you, Tennessee boys?
Go first.
Ole Miss.
All right.
See, I'm kind of conflicted about this because I think Mississippi State's defense is marginally better than Ole Miss's, but is that margin good enough to overcome who I think is probably the most dynamic quarterback in the SEC?
Yeah,
he hasn't been most consistent. That goes to our guy. But I'll I'm gonna take the Akbars.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Akbars.
Good enough. Well, I mean, I didn't even expect it to be a good game, other than the fact that the Egg Bowl is sort of always a good game. I really do enjoy watching that game. Especially
How many unanswered points does State score on the Plains?
A whole dang! I think they just scored another one. To be honest,
You just said the most dynamic quarterback in the SEC. A lot of folks said that was Bo Nix. A lot of folks getting their nuts in their pants about Auburn going to do something to Bama. I'm just saying, all right, think about it.
No, considering Bo ain't playing,
me nuts and pants.
Bo may not even be in the friggin'
Oh
stadium.
no, I thought about the other guy. What was that guy? Who's the
Finley, TJ Finley?
He was the one with the towel over his head as soon as he got pulled from starting. Okay, that guy. Yeah.
Bro, listen, let me tell you, ain't ne'er one of y'all gonna flip over to the score of the Alabama-Auburn game and see Auburn 28, Bama 24, and think, oh my God, how did this happen? Not one of you. You'll all say, yeah, of course that's what happened at Jordan Air. So I'm just saying, All right, so who's next? Who's next?
The Scotch tape is failing me.
Hogs and Tigers.
Okay, we got Mizzou versus Arky. Arky's favored by 14.5.
Zooey Pig.
All right, so Matt's got the Woo Pigs. Did anybody Ethan, what do you think, buddy? We'll go down the list.
We've got Arky and who?
Arky's playing Mizzou. It's hosting Mizzou. They are, and they're favored 14.5 at home.
14.5. Arkansas wins.
Florida.
Yeah. I think Missouri's gonna be riding that high from knocking off the 5-5 Florida Gators. Eli Drinkwitz is working on his force chokes. So I think that fuck it, Woo Pig Suey.
There we go.
The fighting Dargan Wares, we win.
There we go.
And we cover.
What about it, Dren?
I mean, is Missouri going to be high coming off Florida? Yeah, but I think Arkansas is going to be just as hyped over pushing Bama to the brink the way they did. So I'm going for the Hogs. I'm going to take the Hogs and the points.
Okay. Brandon?
Oink oink.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you. I think both teams are pretty hype right now. I think Arkansas is going to win, but I think Missouri is going to cover. For reasons
that's where my head was too, but then
Missouri is going to play fairly decent run defense against Arkansas. Arkansas wants to run it. Arkansas their defense is shaky, and Mizzou Basilak's back. He's starting to show a little life. So I like the matchup. Like I said, I think Arky wins it, but 14.5 is too many. I think something like 10 points would be more like it. All right. So next is UGA at Georgia Tech. Georgia's favored by 35. I'm going to take the Dogs. I know Matt's going to take the Dogs.
I haven't spoken yet, but I'll defer to the rest of the group. I'll go last.
Is anybody not taking Georgia, or is anybody going to say Georgia Tech? That's too many points. Brandon?
Actually, yeah, I'm going to take the points.
Oh, heck yeah.
Just to spite Ducati.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All
He
right.
better, y'all. Leave him
That's
alone.
their choice. What am I supposed to
Leave
do?
him alone. He better. He's salty.
Nah,
By the way, I
we
meant to
better.
say it earlier.
I'm optimistic. I'm high on hopium.
I left my Cash App up here on my name. So if anybody will send me 25 cents, I'll answer your question on air. I promise I'll do it.
Any
Dren,
question?
Any question. You send me 25 cents, I will answer it. I'll put it on the screen. I'll answer it. I'll play Truth or Dare with you for 25 cents.
Okay.
Dren and Brandon.
My score prediction for this is 49-10 Georgia, so I'm going to take the Dogs.
All right. Okay. And Brandon, what about you?
Oh, them dogs gonna run wild, brother.
Okay. All right. So
I appreciate the lodgings that I have been given, living in Ethan's head rent free, but we're going to change some shit in here if I'm going to be living here now. Would it kill you to put up some fucking red and black once in a while? I'm taking the Dogs.
Do you not see? This is red and black, man.
This is the start.
It's red and black. What you want from me, dude?
Dogs are going to roll.
FSU goes to the Swamp. Florida's favored by 3.
Y'all go first because I got top secret info that I'm going to share.
Okay. I am. God, this sucks. I'm going to take the Noles outright. Money line, baby. Money line. All right, Matt, what you got? FSU or UF?
Why does it got to be me?
Because you're right beside me. You're.
Because he said so, damn it.
Brandon, I'll be courteous. You're a guest. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
Also money line on Florida.
Also money line. I love it.
We got 2 Florida State picks. I wonder what I'll do.
Did you get a fuzzy mic?
Well, no, it didn't come that way.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What are you doing there?
That thing's never going to work right now that you took it off the first time.
You fucked up your own widget. You know what I mean?
Didn't it?
Dren, you look tired. You want to go
I
to
am.
bed?
I've had a long fucking
get us out of these picks, Dren. Jesus.
Ethan, you almost convinced me. Almost. I want sewer gators, so I want them going all the way down the drain. I'm gonna pick the Noles.
Mr. Ducati.
This was supposed to be the game that got Mullen fired, right? If he loses this was supposed to be the one. If he loses this one, oh, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Knox or whoever his name is not going to get the job done. You're trending down. They're trash, but they're trending up. Noles are going to get it done in the Swamp, baby. What you got?
All right. So, Emory Jones has an ankle injury and will not be playing in this game, which means Anthony Richardson will be starting, which means this is essentially an audition for whatever coach is coming in next.
Anthony Richardson just decommitted and came to Georgia.
So I think that this game will be all the seniors who Jace Crispin, Stuart Reese, these guys, Justin Shorter, Brenton Cox. I know that's a name that lives in infamy up in Athens.
Baby.
Seconds.
By Stetson Bennett IV.
I think that those guys are going to come out fired up. I think that they like Mullen. I think that Mullen's issues were the guys who played for Mullen love Mullen. I mean, whether he's a jackass or not,
they showed it.
He showed his ass, sure, yeah, but we know that Mullen's not a snake oil salesman, or else we'd have better recruiting classes. So the guys who came actually liked him. I think that they're going to want to send Greg Knox and the staff off on a high note. I think AR is going to go the fuck off, and we're going to have 450 from AR in a 45-12. Yes, sir. 2 missed extra points.
Okay, I got it down there. All right,
You're telling us you're taking the over.
All right.
45.
Yes, 45-12.
Next, boys, Iron Bowl. Is anybody in here? What's the spread? What's the spread? 19 and a half? 19 and a half, right? I think it's 19. Yeah, Bama by 19 and a half. Anybody in here want to take Auburn in the points? Because I'm going to take Auburn in the points.
I want the Auburn in the points as well. It's in Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
I think that
oh shit.
I'll take it. I might as well go 0 for 5, right?
You're gonna go over like 8.
Well, you're 5 for 5 for real. So yeah, a 5 is good.
Sir, 5 and 6. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that beating Sanford and giving them 42 points in the first half was counted as a win.
It does.
But
I have Matt, Dren, and Brandon down for Bama. Is that correct?
Roll Tide. Can I get one from the Hillbillies?
If Bo was playing, I'd take Auburn.
What? Say that again.
If Bo was playing, I would go.
Okay.
Bo's out, so goes the team.
Vandy is going to Rocky Top, and Tennessee's favored by 31.
We'll cover that by the middle of the second quarter.
Who are they playing?
Vandy at Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll say this, man. If the November version of Tennessee were to line up with the November version of Florida, sorry to say it.
Oh my God! I tabbed away for 1 second to see what's going on, and we're back to this bullshit. If we played, y'all lost by 24 points when we played this season. Stop it! It's embarrassing everybody.
I never said a fucking word.
Not you. It wasn't directed at you.
Oh, hey,
I'm sorry for wrapping you up in that.
The November version of
I
Tennessee
apologize.
were to line up with the November version.
Brandon knows who I'm talking to. When the 2021 Florida Gators and the 2021 Tennessee Volunteers played, what happened?
Well, wait a minute. What team are we talking about? Because Mullen said that the 2021 Gators
Florida Gators played the 2002 Georgia Bulldogs, who wins? Who fucking cares? They played each other in the season.
You're like obsessed with 1980. I don't know why.
I didn't say anything about 19.
Last week, we would have kicked your ass.
By the way, 16-14 was not a scoregami, damn it.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, I know.
I'm muted these guys again. Dren, you like Tennessee in those points?
Yes.
I'm taking Tennessee to cover as well. Brandon, what about you? You like Tennessee there?
Rocky Top. We're going to blow them out.
I'm going to let Matt in long enough to say one word: Tennessee or Vandy. Say it: Tennessee or Vandy. Matt, you're on air.
Tennessee.
All right. I'm letting Ethan in for one word. You want Vandy. Tennessee or Vandy? All right. Ethan is for Vandy.
Fucking contrarian.
Yeah, he's the best. He is the best.
Doing well.
I don't care about my pick record. It's already terrible. My season sucks. I'm just going to flame you guys.
The man is just sitting there with a razor blade just sawing at his wrist. Just like, yeah, I'll take Vandy.
Whatever. Screw it.
Next is Texas A&M is going into the swamp to the Baton Rouge to take on the Fight and Go Tigers. Ooh. And I was actually kind of surprised that A&M's only favored by 6.5. I think A&M covers that easily. So I'm taking TAMU.
Chaos. Give me LSU. They're sending Edo out on the best note they can.
They did play that stupidly long overtime game a couple of seasons ago, and
They are going to be fired up. And Texas A&M, they just lost to who'd they play? They lost to did they lose to Arkansas?
No, it was
No.
Mississippi. No, it was hang on. Ole Miss?
Yeah, it was Ole Miss. Yeah. So I think Texas A&M has some shine after Bama. They just lost to Ole Miss. I think that they're kind of realizing we're not going to get a New Year's Six bowl. We're looking at a Citrus Bowl type of deal. I think LSU's going to be fired up and ready to go.
Okay, all right. Matthew.
What time is the game?
That is a good question.
I think it's a night game.
I do believe it is a night game.
Whoa. You don't want to go there at night.
Can we get some confirmation?
Because the Iron Bowl
7 p.m. 7 p.m.
The Iron Bowl's a 3:30 game.
Ooh, yeah. Jimbo needs to learn a dose of reality because he thinks he's doing something over there in College Station. I believe the Tigers are going to be fired up at night in Death Valley on all that voodoo. They're going to send Coach O out on the right note.
Coach O may not be a great coach, but the state of Louisiana loves that man.
They will die for him.
They would fight him on a sandbar.
He's probably impregnated half their mothers.
Yeah.
Good Jesus. Brandon.
It just what does it do? Diversify the gene pool down there? Wait,
what name, father?
No, it'd be more like homogenized the gene pool.
I don't think you can get a more homogenized gene pool. I don't know if you guys realize how Cajun culture works. But
it's cool, Joe.
It's just one big bowl. You understand? You just stir it up. So, Dren, what? Jimbo or O? Who do you like?
O.
You like O?
I like O.
All right. Okay. All right. What about you, Brandon?
I mean, the whole. I mean, Ducati made an impression with me with the whole like they don't give a fuck, and he's leaving, and they're gonna go send him out the best way they can.
I gave it a speech. I'm not going to do it again because it's profane, but they are coming from a position of fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't care.
The same way they were last year when they played us. It was like they didn't give a crap. They just left it all on the field.
And they got the dudes, and they'll always have the dudes where if they ever wake up or they play from a position to fuck you, you in trouble. It's when LSU's in that middle point where they're like, oh man, we got to worry about stuff. That's where you get them. If they're rocking or they're done, they're dangerous.
Okay. So, Brandon, you're.
I don't know if the Corn Dogs win outright. A&M might win by a field goal, but just to say it, go Corn Dogs.
Go, Jesus.
Mitch was confounded as to
Ethan
how...
is trying to be the contrarian, and I'm turning out to be the contrarian. Okay, so Clemson, South Carolina. All right. I wish Mikey were around for this one, but Clemson is favored by 11.5. And my question is can Clemson score 11.5? I mean, I know they put up some points against Wake Forest, but like Wake Forest is
was undefeated until a few weeks ago. Right?
That defense is hot garbage.
But their defense was like
Wade's defense is hot garbage.
Damn near as bad as Michigan State's was last year.
Yeah, okay.
Clemson. God, I think this is going to be a surprisingly good
Beamer
game.
Bowl, baby.
Beamer can say in his first season at South Carolina that he beat Florida and he beat Auburn. He can say that. And them's facts. All right. So can he say that we also beat Clemson? Oof. What a selling point. You might see them chickens fly.
I think you can say we covered against Clemson.
We covered against Clemson. I'll take South Carolina in the points. I'm going to take them.
I agree.
All right.
I agree. I think Clemson's going to stumble backwards into
a win like they have done many times.
Yeah.
We can debate the other teams. I don't think we can debate. Clemson did actually break themselves on us. They have not looked the same since that 10-3
shellacking.
So I'll take the chickens and the points.
All right. A little more consensus. I like it. Ethan, you going to be the contrarian? You gonna
Man,
roll Dabo?
I want to go South Carolina outright just so that
That would be
means
contrary. You wouldn't need the
Dabo leaves. Dabo comes to Florida. It all past diverged the same point with my line of thinking here. That's not going to happen, I don't think. But I'm gonna go. I'll go Clemson. I think Clemson covers. I want to go. I feel like Shane Beamer is going to get like a block punt for like a touchdown. That's going to swing the game because his dad's going to call him and be like, look, man, you line them up in this spot and you make them rush like this, and then you Beamer ball them. And I think that could happen, but I think Clemson covers. I'll be country. Go Mikey. Go Fighting Mikeys.
All right, Brandon.
I think South Carolina, and Beamer's going to use a special headset for that thing to talk to his son. It's going to be right here. Clemson might win. I don't think they're going to win by 11.5.
Wow. That's upsetting. I'm sorry I had to see that.
Like Quaid from Total Recall coming out? Open your
Quado.
eye. What did I say? Yeah, Quado. Talking to Quaid.
So here, this one also surprised me. UK is going to Louisville, and Louisville's favored by 3. This is the last of the rivalry weekend picks. So this will be the 9th pick of this week, boys. 9th pick. We're going out with a bang, all right?
Who here beat Kentucky?
Oh.
So,
Right?
Favored.
Who, what? What's your question?
The first question was, who here beat Kentucky?
And you got four hands. Yeah.
And Louisville is fucking favored?
Yeah, Louisville's favored by 3.
It seems like beating Florida doesn't really get you a lot, or beating Kentucky.
It doesn't anymore right now this year. Why are they at?
What the hell is Louisville beat?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm confused by this one. Is it at Louisville? Is Louisville?
Yeah, it's Papa John's.
Are they on fire?
Their quarterback went off. I remember putting it in the chat because I watched him play on the Thursday night game or whatever. I remember putting it in the chat,
that.
and I said, "This dude is going off." Their quarterback went the heck off last week. I don't know who they were playing. It was one of those things. I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, and I'm watching the game, and this dude is just scoring touchdowns. That's what he was doing. He showed up, put on his suit, scored a bunch of touchdowns, and went and got in the shower. Like so. I just don't see. I don't see Louisville hanging with Kentucky.
I'm not a Wildcat all year.
So Dren likes the
Hailing that blue mist.
Hey, you know what? And I've been right a lot of times. So
I'm going Louisville. Just
Gotcha.
to bury it all the way. Just get Louisville out. Yeah,
Might as well. By the way, who here beat South Carolina?
Who here beat Tennessee? Oh, it's fun, isn't it, guys? It's fun, isn't it?
Who beat Missouri? Go ahead, guys. Come on, get in on it. Get on it.
Matt, do you like UK or do you like Louisville?
I'm gonna take UK.
All right, Brandon, what about you? Taking the cats on the money line. Make the bet.
Let's go Kentucky, because I don't know shit about Louisville.
All right, fantastic. Woo, all the picks are down. That's it. That's all I got. So, if y'all ain't got anything else, I'm gonna play this little thing right here.
I think we'll hang 20.
What? I'm sorry. I played the wrong thing. Here's the right
thing.
I mean, there's much more humiliating video out there.
I vividly remember one that went something along the lines of, "There ain't no way in hell they beat us by more than 20." That one really sticks out to me. We might need to pull that one up.
Oh no!
I can go the next week and go where he says 28. I mean,
let's just stick with that one. Let's just stick with that one. Let's not go more humiliating. Let's just stay where we are. Jordan Davis for Heisman, and you better vote that way.
I'll put my weight behind it.
Because he's big enough to make a difference in your life if you don't.
If you haven't got a chance, everybody listening out there in listening land, if you haven't got a chance to see the Josh Paschal video for the children's dentistry, I shared it in the group chat. Go on YouTube, look it up. He's a defensive player from Kentucky, and he's cashing in on his NIL deal with this pediatric dentistry outfit in Lexington, and it's freaking hilarious. It's the damn
very office linebacker-esque.
It's very much Terry Tate, office linebacker-esque, and it is slapping the sweets out of the little girl's hand. Oh Jesus, it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. All right, but anyway, it's been fun, boys and girls. Again, we'll do this again next week, Tuesday night at 9:30. Glad to have Ethan back on the show, and everybody out there, listen, have a wonderful, safe, and happy holiday weekend. Eat all the turkey. I plan to, and take all the naps. And remember, there's a game almost every night.
Real quick, ham or turkey?
Ham.
Absolutely turkey, and it best be fried.
Both. I want each of them.
I'm a both guy as well.
I'm stuck with chicken.
What?
Not everybody.
I saw somebody in Publix with 2 ducks.